Welcome, brothers, welcome, sisters, back to our program On Target. Our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, all our brothers who are political activists, apologists for the different political party, militants, and all and sundry, welcome to our program. We always invite you to participate. Interrupt us at any time. A number of issues in the world, from the economic issues that are going on in the world as a result of America's initiative to increase tariffs, to the war in Israel and Palestine, to the fact that the cardinals will be entering the conclave today to start the process of choosing the next chief shepherd to lead the Catholic Church, the Pope. If you go to big churches, like the one in St. Andrew Parish or the others in St. George's, you would see a list of popes there from St. Peter, over 2,000 years. Normally these individuals will go inside there and they have to choose a pope. They won't let them out. They have to give a sign that they select a pope. They will send out smoke. I think many decades and centuries ago, they're wrangling for several weeks. They can't choose a pope. So the people decided to damn happy. So they locked them inside there. They say you're staying inside there till you choose a pope. And they decide to cut down on the amount of food and water they're giving them. They say, stay there and choose a pope. And you could only come out if you give us a sign that a pope is selected. And that is why the tradition starts with the white smoke and the black smoke. The Catholic Church is the only organization or institution that is 2,000 years old. And they walk around with a history. Some of the little churches start about 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, and they don't have that kind of history. But we're in Grenada here, and there is never a dull moment in Grenada. You have a new political entity. You have a new political entity forming. They call it the movement. Eventually, Peter David would lead that movement. That is his movement. And I went and asked him questions on 2 occasions. I have about 5 questions to ask before I hold up. If he's not answering them publicly, I'll hold up after 5. Today, I want to speak about the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. That's a body that was established to investigate and reveal past human rights abuses and violations. The hope is it mainly dealt with conflicts and authoritarian rule. And the aim was to bring about truth to light, promote healing and reconciliation, and prevent future abuses. South Africa established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in 1995 to investigate human rights violations from the apartheid system. The black man was treated very badly in South Africa. Mandela was in prison for 20-something years. A lot of people died. But they decide vengeance is not the answer. If we go to seek justice, we might end up killing all them white men. And we might end up killing a lot of black people too. So let us establish the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Let people tell the truth. Let it be recorded. Let us heal. Let us forgive one another. And let us move on. It is a phenomenon perhaps way back, perhaps Mahatma Gandhi in his struggle against the British had this kind of peaceful protest, trying to say we could protest without violence. Martin Luther King was more of a peaceful person than Malcolm X. Malcolm X said by all means possible. He was indicating if blood had to shed blood. But Martin Luther King took a more peaceful measure. So Mandela in South Africa, and maybe under pressure from other forces too, started the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And Grenada established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in 2001. September 4, 2001. September something. I can't remember which day. And it went on to March 2006. During the 4.5 years of the coup d'etat and the effort to establish a revolution, Maurice Bishop supervised over the worst crimes in Grenada after slavery and colonialism. Over 5,000 people was in prison, but Maurice Bishop signed the order for over 3,000. The last time I say is 3,112. A man tell me I'm wrong. It's 3,113. But I wasn't in jail. Tillman Thomas was. Kenny Larson, Kerry Bowler, Kerry Budlai, Philip Scary. So they're going to know the exact time. Over 300 Rastas was placed in the cow pen. The Rasta says the cow pen, but Bishop and them says Hopeville. They was treated very badly. They was treated like animals. Clotilla was executed and Broco was castrated. The people of Montreal and the surrounding areas, and Tivoli and the surrounding areas was treated very, very badly. 3,000 to 4,000 Grenadians flee from heavy manners. Coming after that, they say, how are you going to start bringing people in court? Let us establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, mirroring that of South Africa. It went on from 2001 to 2006. I think an Anglican priest, can't remember, absolutely certain, I believe it's an Anglican priest, was the chairperson or one of the members of the committee. They met obstacles because they felt some people who know the truth stayed away from coming to tell the truth. It could have been because of the fear of repercussion and victimization. Today my question is to Peter David. Did you give evidence in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission? I ask this question, Peter, because you have developed a track record of working quietly while you were always involved in the politics. Now, if you are evolving to leadership, I believe we ought to move. You have stayed away from all controversial issues. All. When you ask people about Peter, they say Peter is a nice man and he could raise fund. But almost all fundamental position, Peter, you have not spoken. You have stayed very quiet. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission was established for healing and to avoid abuses. I believe it is absolutely necessary to know what position you took then. Because you are a leader of a political party now. And when Deaton evoked Maurice Bishop's spirit, he opened a Pandora box. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good day, sir.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
I'm very hungry today for open bat because I was absent.
Well, go right ahead.
Yesterday.
Punch. Go right ahead.
So I have to punch right now.
Yes.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate the Rotary crowd and the Rotary people, for staging a very good eye clinic yesterday at St. It was very successful. While I was there, you had about 229 persons. Robert White, who played a very instrumental part in that program, he did a good job. And the people was very, very kind and courteous, the doctors. So it was a good program. I have to give congratulations to Mr. White and the Rotary Club. Yes, Mr. Pierre, you still have NDC activists who missing the point. This morning I heard one of the NDC activists trying to attack our caretaker by saying NNP was not the most stable party to manage economy. I want Grenada to know that the best party and government for having a stable economy in this country is the new National Party. We have to give praises to our ex-going soldier, Gregory Bowen, and Dr. Mitchell. These two gentlemen, nobody in the NDC could ever challenge them on having a... This is why the NDC was able to boast and say that they meet a pregnant treasury. They should shame to say that because that shows NNP knows what they're about. And this is why we Grenadians have no other choice but to bring back that party to rescue Grenada at this time. I asking also the people of Montreal, Montbridge, the surrounding area on Thursday evening at 6 o'clock to come and socialize with our new political leader right by my residence. Some of them told me they have not known her personally. So they have the opportunity to greet her, say hi to her. So I want to invite, I will do it on other programs as well. So I thank you for allowing me to make that announcement, Mr. Pierre, in your program. So I will continue to advocate that NNP is the best government and party for having a stable economy in this country. I rest my case.
You make, yes, Scholar Tank, you make 3 points there that I feel compelled to respond to. One of them is the activity with the eye clinic, the Rotary Club in Grenada. They have always been involved in good programs to assist people directly. And one must be highly appreciative of the individuals in the Rotary Club. They are not rich people. They are hard-working, dedicated, committed, selfless, sacrificing individuals. I don't know much of the members. Some of the members I knew before, they're kind of old. You won't see them around. Their beard is gray, and arthritis must take all the bones. But White and Patrick Bain in Grenville, I know these individuals as stalwart workers that give selflessly. And this time they should be a model for the NDC government that feel they cannot go out of their way to help people without getting paid. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon. You think there'll ever be a black pope?
Well, whether we have a black pope or a white pope or a green pope, these things are so important, you're just a pope.
But religion, if we have a lot of black people fall in the church, that's why I don't believe, because I come from a family of Pan-Africanists, and if you fall in church, I was in America, I used to be in America, and I see, when I go to church, in Catholic church, I was seeing, it was more white people I seen than you go to the black church of the Pentecostals and the Baptists, and these people were so hostile, and there was more white Americans, more redneck, and so I want to know if we have because if black people fall in a religion that they don't support us, don't use us guinea pig.
You know Moses married an Ethiopian? Did you know that Moses was married to an Ethiopian?
What's that?
Moses in the Bible, he was married to an Ethiopian. And Christianity was in Africa before he go to Europe. And we have a lot of black saints. And you have a lot of black cardinals. And when the enclave today, starting today, there'll be people there, cardinals that qualify to be pope, that from different ethnic group. Jews, they have people from South America, from Africa, from Italy, from Chinese and all. So any one of them could be selected.
But I could bet my more money on it. I could bet there will be a black pope.
It doesn't matter the color. What they need to come with is a pope, a good pope. Pray and ask God to give them a good leader, a good pope. But we don't care whether it's a black pope, a red pope, or a yellow pope. And the black man have to remember that Christianity was in Africa before he come in Europe. And Moses married a black woman from Ethiopia. And there are a lot of black saints.
I know that Solomon was a black man. I don't know about Moses,
There's a lot of things about it. Some people always bring in the Africa thing because of slavery. And I tell people that the Africa was selling slaves for 700 years before the European gone by. So Africa is guilty of selling the people. Europe had no damn right to buy people. But the Africans are guilty too of selling the people. Yes, my brother.
How about?
And that is why it's so important. Yes, caller, welcome. And that is why it's so important for us to know. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother.
I sit down here and I listen to your program. A very good program, Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre, people saying that people saying that them party was the best party I ever worked in. Mr. Pierre, this NMP party is the worst party I ever ruled this country. Mr. Pierre,
give me 2 reasons why you say that.
Give 2 reasons why I say that.
Yeah.
Mr. Pierre, they had 15 seats 2 times in this country. Listen what they do. They mash up the marketing board. $15, $17 million. And you want to come back and Mr. Pierre, they bankrupt it. Mr. Pierre, look at the bug, them and the bug. Up and down.
This money debug take from me.
Up and down.
I say actually,
Bro, we can get the first over there.
this money debug take from me.
Look at the skill farm. The swim farm. In Christ Border constituency. I tell you, Mr. Pierre, that is more government over past in this country. Mr. Pierre, let me tell you something. This government say they had $1 million in the treasury. Mr. Pierre, that is wickedness. $15 million. $500 million. They refuse to pay the pension, Mr. Pierre. I tell me that them is the best government. Them is the worst. You have people, they pay the people, the poor and vulnerable. They give them $40 a day for 10 years, and they have millions in it. They have 500 million in church. And you tell me that is the best government in there. The money keeps churning. For 5 years, they give them $700. For 10 years, they give them $700. They have $500 million for complete. I tell you, Mr. Pierre, let me tell you something. This government is the most wickedest government we ever passed in this country. Mr. Pierre, look at what's going on with the police station and all this. They made them have $500 million for complete. They leave them place and more taking people, more killing people in this country. And they say they have $500 million for complete. What they have to do? I tell you. Fools make money and wise man spend. Them damn fool on them. Mr. Pierre, you have a good day.
The NDC met over 500 million each. The NDC dance, you know. They dance and they start to squander money. Money just go fast. You know. It's not the amount of money that come in your pocket, you know. It's what you do with the money that's in your pocket. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good.
Mr. Pierre, how I say it is time for these people and them to go away, you know. Because Christmas, you could spend $1. August, you could spend $1. Huh? You money booming in school coming up, they know. When the holiday for August month for school children, you getting your little thing to go and buy your little school children thing. Mr. Pierre, these people and them just have one set of people doing their work. Like if it's, Grenada town, like one set of people live surviving, you know. Mr. Pierre? One set of people. So what going on to the rest? This man talking about you have to tell who you are. Say you is a Democratic Congress for you to get what you want. So that this country come now separate the sheep from the goat. What is going on? This country, I don't like how that country running in this time now. Tala. It's time for these people and them to go.
All right, caller, thank you.
All right.
Just for the previous caller, the NDC met over $500 million in the treasury. They got $100 million from Saudi Arabia that was negotiated by the previous government. They got over 100 million. Every time I say that, Amanda's remind me it's 118. Over $100 million insurance payment after burial. $1 billion from the sale of passport. $1 billion from the sale of passport. And they had 100 low-income houses in Karakum that they take back the keys from the poor of the poor. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my sister.
Well, your friend, he right to say what he has said there, you know. He's quite right. Because if Dr. Kit did do as what this government...
Crapo smoke with pipe without tobacco.
Sometimes we the poor people would not have able to live in it. So I agree with some of them because Dr. Kit and them was working at for nothing just to help the poor, the lower class of people in Grenada. But them now, inside there, just to full their pocket and to hell with the lower class of people. So agree with what he said, some of what he said, but he must look at the things and the facts he coming out with. He must know where he getting it from. He might get in a little, they might giving him a little something
No,
on the side.
No, they don't give him nothing. He just like
him nothing.
He just like the party,
information, so
and he losing money from debug. No, they don't give him nothing.
And he does get so much information on who giving him.
He keep in touch with
the
things.
postness what is with Prime Minister does not be in Grenada. And the why is the Prime Minister, so Papa and the why helping out with the information. But he's quite right with what's going on with it, because the Prime Minister they say we had yet totally past the others. They had the power in their hand and they didn't know how to use it. But he going to use his power and he using it for you. And those stupid who are trying to defend him cannot see. Have a blessed day. God bless you.
Yes. The number to call is 442-0175. Always remember that every government, some people might like the government, some may not. And some people defend the government because they like the government. We on this program want to speak the truth. And we all also want to give people the option to express their views and their opinion. When the NDC government come in power, I think that was the most fortunate government in my long sojourn on earth. They got over $500 million in the treasury. They had 100 house units in Carrico to give out. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, my dear
yes, my brother.
Prime Minister.
Yeah, my brother. Good man.
Yeah, as for the question of the wealth sharing in the nation, I could confirm on my area, because I am the voice of St. Andrew North. I could tell you for St. Andrew North, it is only one set of people are getting things. The wealth is only going on one set of people's side. And I am calling on the Prime Minister and the caretaker for St. Andrew North. If the rest of people afraid to speak out, I am unafraid. I, Gabriel Ranger Mogias, is unafraid to speak out because I am a citizen of this country. I'm no second-class citizen. I am asking that you all share the wealth equally. One set of people get it. Instead of family. They buying truck, they have contract on the road, the wife working, all the brothers working, and alone, and the rest of people in trouble. I asking that Tessa look into that first, please. And I will not give up until something has been done with the wealth in St. Andrew North is concerned, and the country as a whole. Have a blessed day, man.
Yes, you see the government say, yes, caller, welcome.
Greetings, Elder. How are you, sir?
Great, man. Good, my brother.
No, Elder, on behalf of our caretaker, Jelani Glean, and political leader, Emmeline Pierre, I am publicly inviting all available persons to our community meeting this Thursday, the 8th of May, in Montreat, St. Patrick, at Garbage Shop at 6 p.m. That's Mr. Godwin Phillip. It's a perfect time to have a one-on-one with your caretaker, Jelani Glean, and your political leader, Miss Emmeline Pierre. It's also a perfect time to share your thoughts, concerns, and ideas. It's a great opportunity to meet and greet and have discussions pertaining to your life and everything that's important to you. Once again, thank you for your time, sir.
Okay,
have a great day.
Yeah, and these caretakers or these political aspirants are these individuals that are going around and interacting with the community. You have to speak the truth to the people. You have to take the people in your confidence and tell them the truth. Don't make any highly impossible lies to them. Tell them the truth. That is the only how we go have development. When they ask you a question, speak to them. Make notes of the points they be making. Even the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. You must surprise where you get good ideas from. The vagrants in the street could cause you to have sleepless nights. and provoke your thoughts. We have to respect our people. There is nothing about commoners or classless people. Some people get an opportunity that others didn't get. All of us will go to school together. But you don't know if I couldn't sleep last night because of the trouble in my home. And I couldn't learn in the morning. There are some children that go to school and they're sleeping on the bench in the morning. And I know some children that used to use coffee to help to stay up in school in the morning time. And they did not even have the means to hot the water. So they will soak the coffee in cold water and drink it to help to keep up, to stay awake in the morning. Because you do well, it doesn't mean the other people don't. Their circumstances might be different. This government has put a shadow, a cloud over the intention of people who want to go in politics. Because it could well seem now that you go in politics for money. The other point I was making about the eye clinic in St. Patrick's. We don't need a new hospital. What we need is to have doctors operating 24/7 in St. Patrick's and St. John. A general practitioner, a dentist, a psychologist, and periodically or with great regularity, an eye specialist. So that our people could have service. We don't need a new hospital. This government is planning to spend over $500 million to build a hospital. If at this point in time you cannot buy drugs and basic medication for the hospital, yet you want to spend $500 million and wait 10 years to partially retrofit a hospital. The government must have some ulterior motive, and the Prime Minister hoped to turn billionaire by that time. What you need is to have medical doctors in St. Patrick's and St. John 24/7. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, caller.
We don't need a new hospital. Why? Up to today, after 44 years, the people of this country, they have to make motorcade, to bring them, to get their service, go abroad, go to America and get service.
Caller.
Mr. Pierre?
Caller.
After 24 years,
Caller.
that's how much of 500 million.
Caller.
I don't say people of this country, they have to leave and go in America. They have to find motorcade, beg for the whole day to get money to travel abroad. So we want a good hospital in this country. I don't know what the NNP is doing all the time, but there is just a waste of time. They can't tell me nothing they could do. What they couldn't do after they had 23 years in office. Tell me something they're going to do different than what they had to. Nothing. I don't know what these people are talking about. Get lost.
One of the things you must do if you want the discussion, when you make a point, you have to prepare to listen to the counter proposal. But if you say they can't tell you nothing, well, that means you don't want the discussion. And people continue to say 23 years the NNP was there. Every time the NDC come, they bring the economy in free fall. In 2008, 2013, the NDC brought this economy in free fall. They were selling property to meet current expenditure. They sold what was not theirs. And they sold what they didn't have the legal authority to sell. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah, listen, I was in conversation with somebody about a week ago. and they was making mention that they are part of the road warden, and it was making mention to me about the road officer in St. David's. He was dismissed from his work because he wasn't towing the line. They wanted him to sign certain documents that he wasn't aware of. I don't feel as a MC boy, you're not towing the line, you're not doing what you know. So they say he received a letter of dismissal. Yeah, because you were working for over 20. Now they tell them, boy, you had to go home. And your good friend who always calling and talking about they raise the minimum wage. The same road worker tell me they don't get no increase. No increase. The price remain the same for them. So thank you, Mr. Ray.
Yeah, the government raised the minimum wage, but the government is the greatest defaulter of that raise. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
Let's go.
the guy who called before, this one we talked about. Mr. Pierre, why you just entertain that more?
You see, caller, we have to be inclusive and tolerant in Grenada. The government is already... But caller, the government is firing people because they wear green. The government is victimizing, because I'm on the radio, and the government see me name, come up as a farmer, they say don't give him no money. The government want to close, but caller, you see,
my problem with the guy. Why you crying out for the people who the government abusing?
We have to be.
It's like a celebration for you.
We have to be tolerant as a people.
Like it's stupid.
You see, caller, that is my biggest fear. My biggest fear is that NDC continues so on another party come in power and they say, well, NDC used to do it, so I have to do it too. That is why I'm tolerant to people. Because I believe we have to teach the NDC that it's better to be tolerant. The NDC people been saying close down radio station, jail people in the street, hang them.
Mr.
What will happen to this country?
Even the blind man could see what they're doing. Not this guy. This guy very illiterate. I don't think you should give that guy no time on the platform.
No, I beg to disagree with you. I beg to disagree with you. That is his opinion that he's sharing. He's nothing in facts. He's expressing his opinion. If he is making a point of fact, then I'll but it's his opinion. And we have to be careful. We have to be tolerant. We have to be inclusive. We have to show love when other people show hate. I call on program earlier and they cut me off. Because they don't want to hear your voice. We have to have difference of opinion. We have to sit down with our neighbors and exchange ideas. When you're going on the road in your vehicle, you pick up people. You don't care whether they're green or yellow. It can't be that. You have spouse that support different political parties. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good day, Mr. Pierre. And I do agree with you on that stand. But I would the caller need to understand, who spoke about the new hospital, is that just look at the war in Ukraine. It's a perfect example. On the front line, they must have a clinic to stabilize the soldiers when they get injured or when they get shot or when a bomb explodes and the shrapnel was to go into the body. You must have a clinic close to the front line to stabilize those soldiers. Here, as in Grenada here, we have what we call out clinics. And the government must make those out clinics a point where people get sick, they can go there and get proper health care. So that when they move down to the hospital, you don't move all services to the hospital. Most Canadians, they have to go straight to the hospital to get certain services. So if they make the other clinic and then people can go to get proper health care, they don't need to build a new hospital. Doesn't make any sense. You spend $500 million on a new hospital, doesn't make any sense at all. You have one already. So what the government needs to do, fix the other clinics. Go there and put the right machines and then put doctors there. People have no need to go down to the general hospital. So you don't need to be spending $500 million that you don't have. You have to go and borrow. To build a building, having a building is just one. Having the doctors and the machines in there to work is another case. So we don't need a big building. We need to work with what we have right now. Make what we have work first before we move to a second building, a major building, $500 million. Doesn't make much sense at all.
Yeah.
Secondly, Mr. Pierre, the new houses that the government does, we call it Build Back Better. And I made some pronouncement a couple of weeks ago that they're giving people that can't build houses to build. And in the long run, it's going to look real bad on the government. Really, really bad on the government. And lo and behold, most of the people who get houses, they are complaining about those houses. That they're leaking. When rainfall, they have to put buckets. When they go in the shower and bathe, they don't know how that happens. Water leaking from the bathroom, under the flooring, falling outside. There's a lot of crazy stuff in these houses of them. And sooner or later, they're going to see some videos on Facebook proving that point. Because people who they give these houses, as the rain come in, they're going to have more problems with those houses. And I'm telling you that these people are going to post videos of those houses and embarrass the government. So I'm appealing to the government. I don't think they could go back and check them houses and them really fast, or make sure that who they're giving the houses in the future to build, to these people who can build houses. Because they will have major problems with the houses and them, and people who have the houses and them in the future. So they have to make sure that they get this thing right. Because so far, people in Roseville are complaining the house and them leaking, and it's just a major problem right now. So I hope they go back and check these houses and in Roseville and other places, and ask the owners what problem they have now. Because before the owners post videos and embarrass the government once and for all.
Yeah. Yes, we believe that the government, there is absolutely no need for a new hospital now. The government is struggling because of lack of funds and manpower to man the medical health units that they have. We have enough building space. We have room in Princess Alice that to add. We have room in St. George's we could add. The government need to have general practitioners 24/7 in St. Patrick's and St. John. You need to have a dentist, a psychologist, and an eye specialist during the week, whether 4 or 5 days every week in the old clinics. Once you do that, preventative health would improve significantly because people will have ready access to medical doctors. The 500 million you're going to spend, maybe 100 million over the next 5-6 years could improve the facilities. You don't need more hospital space. You have enough. A number of traffic that end up in the St. George's Hospital would not be there. They're going to go to the clinic in St. Patrick's, the clinic in St. George's, Princess Alice Hospital. More specialized service could be offered in Princess Alice Hospital and St. George's Hospital because you're going to lessen the congestion, the traffic, the amount of people are there. There is no need for a new hospital. The government, it appears that Deacon Mitchell wants to use the hospital as a cover to squander money. Yes, Scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, based on what you just said, I say to you, NAPP is backward people. You telling me in this day and age, you don't want a top-class hospital where you don't have to give a room in America for treatment? In this country, we need a top-class hospital. Anything happens, you have to go and get money to go and change that Bible Island. You want a top-class hospital in this country.
All right, Color. Thank you. You see, I think, Color, you're missing the point. Throughout the whole Caribbean islands, there are some medical conditions that you must go away for. because a small population you're dealing with, and you may not be able to provide heart transplant in any one of the Caribbean islands, or brain transplant, or liver transplant. But in 95% of the cases, your people don't have to go away. We don't have the medical assistance, and we need much more discussion on that hospital issue, and I welcome it, but we need much more discussion on it. And maybe I'll have to have a program specifically to talk about the pros and cons of the medical health facilities here. We on the issue again that we ask the question, and we asking the question to Peter David, because he is the leader of the movement, the leader of the new political party that is starting. And we asking the question in relationship to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And we want you to find out about the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Peter David, do you believe in that? Did you contribute to it? Why not? You was no ordinary man. You was an educated person. You moved on and studied law. You knew the purpose of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. When Deacon evoked Maurice Bishop spirit, and Deacon introduced restorative justice, that in its practicality on the ground is retributive justice, I go right back to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good. How are you? Hello?
Yes, go right ahead, scholar.
Right. Is there a difference between a teaching hospital and a hospital?
Well, they have been promoting teaching hospital, and I guess a teaching hospital is an opportunity for university people to do their practice and internship.
Right, among other things. No. The St. George's University contributes about 20 to 25% of our GDP.
Over 20% of our GDP.
Over 20%.
It could be 32, but over 20.
Yeah, but I'll could you say what that would be in dollars? Roughly, an idea?
A lot of money. Our economy is over $1 billion, you know.
Right.
So we're talking about 20% or a couple $100 million.
Right. Now, every year, when students graduate from SGU, they go to the United States mostly to do the clinicals, right?
Yeah.
Now, would a teaching hospital give them the opportunity to do the clinicals? Yeah.
I don't think it would. Why I say that? Because St. George's University is the greatest supplier of medical doctors for the United States.
Yeah.
So hospitals.
Hold on. Medical doctors, you are not really a medical doctor when you leave the university unless you complete your clinicals, right?
Yes. So.
Right. Okay, but hold on. Right about now, I have my cousin's daughter doing clinicals in the United States. Grenadians, we just look like Grenadians, and that is costing us up to 20. Now, let's say we can keep 10-15% of students who graduate every year in some going backwards as Grenadians or Americans or Africans, a lot of Africans too, in SU, and go back. They will be adding, let's say, at least 10% to the GDP. Okay? Right? Now, I don't know the cost of the hospital. It says it's 500 million.
Over 500 million.
Over 500 million. But then that would be amortized over a certain period of time. And I think they would expect that after maybe 10 or 15 years, they would be able to recoup the cost of the hospital. Now, when I hear people talking about we don't need a hospital, I think that all the time we must say it is a teaching hospital. It adds a difference to just a hospital. It is a teaching hospital. And the prospects of a teaching hospital, I mean, it is tremendous. Now, we, like I said, we have Grenadians and people leaving Grenada every year because SU students are in high demand. But to do the clinicals, most of them, they have to go to back to the United States. We could keep them up that money here. And it brings me to the point, when the Right Honorable Eric Matageri said about we getting he wants a university here in Grenada, is what they didn't say about him. When he said he wanted the airport, when he first moved to the idea of an airport, people should look at it, UFOs to come and are in need. I mean, I think it's really, really good that we would get a teaching hospital. Now, even the current hospital, the current hospital would benefit tremendously. But I think it's the Mount Sinai people will be involved in it. I mean, if you're Mount Sinai, one of the top hospitals in the United States, coming to Grenada to work with the hospital, we have it present, and then being involved in the teaching hospital. A lot of Grenadians, I ain't saying all, a lot of Grenadians fly off every time because who could afford it and go to get their medicals done annually. If they know, well, right here we have a teaching hospital, Mount Sinai would be involved in this thing, I think they will stay here. I mean, it's a big dream. It's a hell of a dream. But let's give it a chance.
What we need, my brother, one of the challenges we have here, we don't have discussion on subjects matter. And perhaps when
we don't have discussion, when you say we, I mean, the politically,
the authorities have not been answering questions on these issues. Because the view could also advance. Because the St. George's University is already using Grenada. In addition to that, they are the principal suppliers of medical doctors for the hospitals in the United States. So a lot of the medical facilities glad for them to come and use the facilities for clinics. And if the government of Grenada invests in providing medical doctors 24/7 in St. Patrick's and St. John, our people will be more proactive, more preventative health, and more healthy. As it is now, people are struggling to get the medical facilities. And if government don't have money to put the medical personnel and the drugs in the outer parish, adding a new building, because when you say in a teaching hospital, what you're really saying, we're building a bigger building. Because there is hold on.
Yeah, but don't know what I'm saying. Yes.
Well, that's what the government doing. The government want a massive building. But what you're going to do, you close down all the other hospital? Did the government tell us what's going to happen to the St. George's facility and the Princess Alice Hospital facility? They're not telling us. As far as we hear, they want to sell the spot.
St. George's facility, I heard it said that the people who would be involved in the teaching hospital would have to do, I can't remember the exact words.
You see how
would be involved in the...
You see how they're not giving us information?
No, listen to me. What would be the colony hospital? If you want to be involved in the teaching hospital, you have to do something with the colony hospital. They're trying to get them to deal it. For the second time, for the third time for the day, you keep talking about medical facilities in St. John and in St. Patrick. You never mentioned St. Mark. Is St. Mark fully retrofitted?
We got to take on this. We're running out of time, so.
Yeah, I know you're running out of time. Yeah, I guess so.
We're running out of time, so.
Sorry for that.
But that is a discussion that I like. Yeah. Yes, caller. Thank you.
I like to discuss with you.
Yeah.
Take care, man. All good. Right.
When I say that is the last caller that we have. When I say the facility in St. Patrick's and St. John, I believe if we develop the the facility in St. Patrick's and St. John, we well covered for the north. So the people from Victoria and St. Andrews could come up in St. Patrick's or go in St. John easy. A lot of people in St. Andrews like God, so nothing wrong with that. If we have medical doctors 24/7 there, and I think this is what is of paramount importance, facilities, service, the availability of these things. When the government speak about a teaching hospital, what the government, in my opinion, speak is a massive building. What they're going to do with St. George's Hospital? Would they close it down? What are they going to do with Princess Alice Hospital? Would they close it down? And I believe it will be worse. It will be worse for the people in the country. This is a government that have the attitude that people is commoners, and classless. When I hear the language that emanates from this government, I can only get one qualifying word for them, political bandits. Would I trust them? They're hiding information from us. What you going to do with the building in St. George's, where the hospital now occupies? What you intend to do with Princess Alice Hospital? Would you sell it? Do you sell it already? Because don't tell me you're going to operate that hospital in California with Woodlands away, and then you're going to still keep St. George's. What is the government plan? The government is not providing information for us. They say information is based upon need to know. But based upon what we're hearing, I'm frightened. And the poorer people in this country will be screwed. Particularly in light of the fact that the government is so dismissive of our people. Classless, commoners. And that's why I beg that we must ask questions. We must ask questions. Yes, thank you very much as we come to the end of our program.
It's your chance, turn up, Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend. We talk it out from end to end. And if you've got something to share, pick up the phone, turn it up, Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking